Let's do another one, alright? One more time. 1, 2, 3. Alright, welcome on board on Mikael Koski show. This is the episode number 2, and I have a very special guest here today, Camilla Koski, my travel buddy, my wife, my love, my partner in crime.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. It's my pleasure to be on your second episode.
Yeah, and you're the first guest, by the way.
My
So
privilege.
we are making history here, history of in making. And we are sitting here in our living room in Sydney, and it's a bit of a
Central
cloudy day here. It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday, yes. It's a bit of a cloudy, rainy day, so it's a good day to do a little bit of sitting
Podcasting.
inside. Yeah, talking about our life.
So last episode was about the beginning. It was about one-way tickets. I told the audience about how everything started a few years ago, where we just sold everything what we had and started to travel around the world.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're the number one fan, and you've been listening to that show for a few times now.
Yes.
But today I want to ask you a few questions about how this whole journey in your end has been taking place, and how have you been kind of how's your journey been looking like? So
Well, I think when we first started planning or started talking about it, it was just a really distant dream, and just even thinking about the that there's a chance that we could do something like that it just felt like it's just a dream, like it's not gonna happen, like it's impossible to just do something that's so out of the ordinary. But we started talking more and more, and I feel like when you I think we were manifesting. Like, I remember in the sauna we were talking about and every time we would talk and have this conversation, it would become more real every time.
yeah, and this is where our listeners will acknowledge that we are true Finns. We are, all the big decisions are made in
the
sauna.
sauna, exactly. And I just remember that one time, we'd been talking about it, what if we did this, and what if, how do we do it, and what's it gonna be like? What are people gonna think? Is it gonna be possible? Are we even gonna be able to do it? And then this one time, I just remember it so clearly. We were in your dad's house, in his sauna. I think it was the outside sauna, and we were like, let's do it. Let's just do it and see what happens. And I think that's when we weren't really telling anyone yet at this point. We were just in our minds getting ready for doing something that we didn't know anyone had done. No one we knew had done this before. And it was really scary. It was really daunting. It's what's going to happen what's going to happen with our future. But also that unknowing was really liberating.
Yeah.
And I feel like when we made that decision, we could start processing the whole move and putting our plans into action. And I feel like we had that goal at the end, that's the goal we want to reach, and we were just working every day towards that, because it was such a good feeling when we'd made that decision. It was a whole new world opens up.
The world of what if.
What if?
Just a quick one. So going back to what we are talking about, the people who didn't listen to the first episode, we are talking about the fact that we sold everything what we had in 2014 and started to travel around the world with one-way tickets. So we have been away now for 7 years. We went to Europe for 1 year between, but we have been mostly away, traveling, I think, 4 continents. Been having our unit base here in Sydney.
We're gonna keep traveling, but we've just been stuck
in
Sydney for the last 2 years because of COVID and lockdowns. We haven't been traveling as much as we would have wanted to. So.
That's right. Yeah. So we did travel in Europe. We did travel in Southeast Asia. Explored those cultures in few countries in Southeast Asia, and then we came to Australia, where we then built our units and our life in a way that we could then take and travel from here to, we went to the States and we around Europe. So sorry for interrupting you, but I just wanted to fill in a couple of key elements here.
Definitely.
So that was 2014 where this shift started to take place.
And it's been the best decision we've ever made.
Yeah.
It's been incredible, and that feeling of when we had sold the apartment, sold our, materials, stuff that you don't really need. And you have the whole world open. It's such a freedom, and the feeling of freedom that we had, and we still have, was a feeling I'm not ready to give up, if that makes sense. Like it's just an incredible power. It's so empowering.
Yeah.
I feel like
it's like being drunk of freedom.
Yeah, and that we've been conditioned since we were kids to believe that we're supposed to, get a good education, work hard our entire life, and, kind of, I don't know, but I feel like a lot of people are stuck in a career that they don't like, or just, living in the same city. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some people are very happy there, but we really wanted to experience something else.
Yeah.
And yet that feeling was incredibly empowering, because you felt like you can do anything. Anything is possible in this world.
That's right. So this is not about we saying we did it. We are saying that we did it, yes, but also that the journey started then, and anyway, it's a constant growth. Let's say.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
It's not easy, and it's very scary, but it's very rewarding at the same time. And I feel like the reward was so great, and we grew so much during that whole time, that whole experience, just from start.
That's right, and I feel it's about the mindsets and the quality of the questions we were what people usually ask. So, some people, what you said, conditioning. We are programmed. We are conditioned to live towards to certain expectations. The expectations might be your friends, family, society, belief systems, anything like that. But then that is giving you the map of where you can move around. And then in many places you find you find misery. Many people unfortunately are hating Mondays when their work starts again.
Live for the weekend.
Live for the retirement days. Living for the holidays. And life, in my opinion, and I think in our opinion, is way too valuable to do that. So therefore, this is an encouragement for anyone who wants to do a bit of change.
Yeah, and even just having that question and that curiosity to see what it would be like, I think that's a natural curiosity in everyone.
It doesn't, and the question, one good question to ask, if you ever have these kind of fantasies, what you're playing around with, you can ask yourself, well, what is the worst thing that can happen? Where can I find myself in the worst case? And in our case, it was just that we might, come back later on and start again. But then again, would it be starting again? Because you already
No.
put yourself in a certain level.
Absolutely.
And whatever you do on the time where you're away, if you're growing and being able to learn new things,
Exactly.
you don't have to start from beneath your area where you belong. You become an updated version of yourself, and therefore the opportunities, even you would go back, would be better.
The comfort zone, like if I think about this whole experience, like from my perspective only, I feel like I've grown. Like I didn't even realize how much I grew during the first 2 years, because we were challenged during that time. It wasn't just a fun holiday. We were challenged a lot during those 2 years, and lots of ups and downs, and we always pushed through. Like no matter how like challenging it was, we always pushed through, and we found a way to make it work. And just problem solving, a lot of problem solving all the time. And when we came back home to Finland, I didn't even realize how much I'd grown until I was back where my roots were. And I realized like I was a whole new version of me. Like I was completely different.
Yeah.
Because I'd grown so much, I'd learned so much.
Well, let's talk a bit about those experiences, those challenges. So, let's say if you had to say a few of those wow moments where you realize like this thing could be, this aspect of life could be viewed in this way rather than that way, or what were the key elements for you that you feel that were leading into the growth and the change?
I think me being someone who's normally quite introverted and don't normally like changes too much. I don't like to risk anything. I want stability. I want everything to work out according to the plan. You're very different to that. So that was one thing that I was challenged with going into something unknown. Not just the financial aspect. Also, we put ourselves in situations that were quite high stress. Like, went into new areas, and not that it was dangerous, but we were just out of our comfort zone.
Totally.
On quite a few levels.
Yeah, and one funny thing, what I feel often is that uncertainty became our certainty. Not uncertainty, but unexpected became our expected.
Yeah.
Because when you throw yourself into a different country where you have a different system to operate, language where you think is different, and all the government things and taxation and all that
starting
stuff.
over in a whole new country.
But it's also refreshing, isn't it?
Very refreshing, challenging, also very interesting to see how things work on the other side of the world, and getting used to a whole new government and political parties and all that stuff as well. It's really interesting.
Okay, let's see what happened in Australia then. So in early 2015 we arrived here.
Yeah.
And that's where our journey started in Australia, mostly the East Coast. So how did you, what was the first reaction when you came, when you arrived here?
First reaction was, I kind of felt like it was this hidden gem, so far away from everything. But a really good and interesting functioning society. lot of interesting people around, lots of different cultures, because there's a lot of expats in Australia, a lot of young people who come here, and we met so many people from all around the world. We didn't just, you know, meet a lot of Australians. We were hanging out with Italians, Greek, Swedish people, Germans. So we felt like we met such a wide variety of international people, and that was really exciting to see, because that told us, okay, there's something here that drives all these people to come out to Australia, and we wanted to explore that a bit more. And I feel like we were supposed to stay for 2-3 months and just travel, but when we saw the opportunities and we felt like this could be something really special, we started to play with the idea of finding work and staying for a bit longer than originally planned, and that was what eventually happened. And I think within 3-4 months I started looking for work, and put in some time and effort to do that, and it was, you know, it wasn't hard to find, like, especially in my industry, it was quite easy to find work. So, you know, if that's something that is scary for a lot of people going into a new country, when you worry if you're going to be able to find a job, that's not always easy, but if you put in the work and you build a good portfolio to represent yourself, there's definitely a lot of opportunities. A lot of opportunities.
There's a high demand here.
Yeah.
Australia is growing so fast. Sydney has been growing. I think someone said to me that there's about, need to check the facts, but about 100,000 people moving in every single year. Okay, well, now it's been lockdown and all that stuff happening, so it's not too much borderline action happening, but usually it's a fast growing city.
Yeah.
So please tell us about your which industry are you specialized in?
Well, I've been working in a few different areas, but mainly specialized in beauty and well-being, fashion. Worked as a store manager in a really high-end designer boutique here in Sydney. We've just about a year ago opened up a flagship store location, and so it's been quite interesting. And I'm also, you know, working on a lot of other projects at the same time.
Yeah. And you have been familiarizing yourself with Australian design.
True. Very well.
So how would you say, like, what kind of, is there a stereotype, is there one kind of main design that comes from Australia, or?
Nah, I think Australians have a very good sense of fashion. I feel like there are a few brands that are, you know, internationally renowned these days, like Zimmerman and Camilla, of course. And I feel like they're definitely growing really, really fast, and they're getting a lot of, you know, international recognition.
Yeah, exactly. So what about your day? How does your average day look like
now?
Well, let's say
it's different.
That's another story. Well, let's say in a normal circumstance, what would you do in the morning when you wake up? How would your day look like?
I prioritize my well-being and health by exercising, so I always try to start the day by going out for a run, or doing some form of exercise, going to the gym. But I love going outside, especially if the sun's out and it's springtime, summertime. It's the best feeling in the world when you can smell the ocean and you've got the sun warming your skin. But yeah, I try to take good care of my health before I go into the work mindset. I am very dedicated when it comes to my job, which you have seen. I put a lot of energy and time into making sure that my job's done correctly. And I love being productive. I love seeing results, whether that's sales or just administrative tasks. I just love being productive.
Yeah, what is it called?
I love seeing the result of hard work. It's very rewarding.
Yeah, productiveness equals happiness. Is that a saying, or do I just think it is?
I guess so, in a way.
Progress.
I'd say progress. Yeah, and getting more responsibility. And just growing.
Talking about progress and growing, we did a little workout challenge here.
Yes.
A few months ago.
Yes.
Tell the audience a little bit how that took place and what was the deal.
It was a rough one, but it was the best thing. We did, I don't know if you guys have heard about the 75-day hard challenge. I don't remember the guy's name.
So the guy...
But you can look it up.
I'm just checking that we are still all good here on that. Yeah, so it was 75-day challenge.
Yes. 75-day hard challenge. So basically you work out for 2 times 45 minutes a day. So an hour and a half total. One of those has to be outside. You're on a diet, so you don't eat any crap. No cheat meals, no sugar. You drink a lot of water. I think it's supposed to be
1 gallon.
But I had 2 liters. I felt like that was enough for me. So 2 liters a day. And then you also do no alcohol. So, and then you have to read a book. Like a
minimum 10 pages.
Yeah, every night. So that was really, because we've never had that kind of challenge before. So that was really interesting. And I remember, the first week I was like, yeah, let's do this. This is going to be so, we're going to get so fit. Let's do this. And then after like 15, 20 days, I was really tired. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I hit a bump where it was really challenging because you saw how many days you still had to go. And like working full time on my feet every day, it was really hard to get that workout done, but we just pushed through it. We did it, and it was really interesting because on the 75th day, when we felt so good, like we felt amazing. We still do.
Yeah.
We just felt like we didn't want to end the challenge. We didn't want to go back to the old routines.
Yeah.
And that was almost like scary. Like, what if we just go back to that old?
Oh, well, our life has been quite stable in that sense. We have been always mindful what we eat, how much we exercise. We've been listening to our bodies quite well. However, this challenge took us to a whole different level, because what you said about there was a bit of threshold or maybe a resistance area.
Resistance, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then, if I would just put it in a roadmap quickly, the first 2 weeks were fantastic. It was like the honeymoon week of the workout challenge.
Yeah.
Where you were pumped about the idea of doing something quite challenging.
Exactly.
And I mean, like, when you think about it, work out twice a day, 7 days a week for 75 days in a row.
Yeah. No breaks.
No breaks.
No rest days.
No sugar.
Non-stop.
No cheat meals.
Yeah.
A diet. Water. Reading books. So that means in the practice that you have to shape your whole behavior in a certain,
and making it a habit.
Make room to those changes. And that was a challenge where the what is it called, the honeymoon period for the 2 first weeks.
I think it definitely
took over. Yeah, and then when you start to wake up in the morning and you were bashed. It was like your body felt like it was a train wreck. Then you realize, okay, you know what? I need to eat more proteins. You need to eat this. You need to sleep more. You
rest.
need to rest. You need to do some stretching. Yeah, very, very important.
Definitely. I was really struggling in the end because it started to affect my night sleep because I was running a lot. Like I would do one of the exercises was I would do weights and then I would run a lot. And I feel like my legs and my muscles and my I wasn't stretching enough, and it definitely, towards the end, I was like, do you remember when you had to massage my legs before going to bed? Because
couldn't sleep anymore.
I couldn't sleep, and I would just wake up in these weird positions where I'm like stretching in my sleep.
Yeah.
Weird.
It became a bit of
So that's when I learned I have to stretch properly, and like not just fake stretching, but like proper.
Yeah, because real stretching hurts. Stretching.
It hurts so bad.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
That's when it's not nice anymore.
Yeah.
So fake stretching is funny, better, but it's not the point.
No.
And then
that the hard way.
Like it's so easy to commit onto something, but to take it the whole way through, that's a whole different deal. So, for instance, our plan was to focus on 3 areas of those 6 areas, which were the, let's say, most critical areas. For me it was let's say diet, water, and workout, I think. Water, no alcohol, workout. I think that was the order. So because we like to go dinners, we like to have like people over for wine, all that stuff, that becomes a lifestyle, right? So all of a sudden it's only working out, and then you really need to focus your excess energy on workouts instead.
But it like towards the end we were looking forward to going and doing the workouts, and we didn't really feel like we wanted to drink any alcohol after.
The good felt so good that we couldn't believe that we are the same people. Like because we both are working quite intensive work jobs, and we have a lot of let's say different situations to sort out problems. We both are in a supervisory position, so therefore we have stuff that we need to take care of, and this and that. So in a usual day before this challenge, at least I noticed that the energy level of my days would go up and down and up and down, and I would boost myself with coffee, and then I would crash down in a few hours, and then again some coffee, and that had become my pattern, or my normal. So therefore all of a sudden now, when you would be working out and you would be, let's say, drinking water and exercising, your energy level was constant, and it was also higher than before. When I drove from work, I felt very energized, even if it was 6 p.m. in the evening.
Yeah, and I feel like I started to wake up earlier. Like I would get out of bed at 6 and no issues waking up, other than the fact that I might have been quite exhausted from the workout I did the day before, but it was a good feeling. Like you felt like you've done something good for yourself. That kind of pain. Good pain. But it just felt like you had control of the day, and you were in charge of, because you had to plan in the workouts, otherwise you're not going to do them. So the whole day just looked different, and it was routine, and it was healthy routine, and it felt really good. And I feel like what people do after a challenge like that, which I will admit, I feel like when it ended, I slowly did kind of go back to my old habits a little bit. I'm a sugar lover. So that's my weakness, is I go and I get cravings for sugar, and I buy all the stuff, and I binge when I watch movies and stuff.
Secret candy stashes.
Yeah, I've got a few stashes. And I felt like okay, the challenge is over now. I can reward myself again with all the stuff that I didn't get. And slowly I was finding myself going back to that, unhealthy relationship to sugar. And we started having wine more during the weekends with food, and having friends over for cheese. And I felt like I was giving myself permission to enjoy, but I didn't. In the beginning, I didn't have, what do you call it, like...
Cravings.
No, I didn't have that... just trying to explain, like... For me, it's all or nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have to say no to sugar completely, or it's gonna go out of control. Because it's an addiction, in my opinion. It's an addiction, so...
Yeah.
So, yeah. I found myself going back to old habits, but I saw that happening. I was on top of it. I could see my, mind play out, like, just a little bit. You can have some. Yeah, it's fine.
Slippery slope.
But I also felt, okay, I'm tired again. I feel like crap again. I'm not working out as much anymore. So... I had to kind of, make that decision again to be like, okay, if I want to keep this up, I need to set some ground rules for myself to ensure that, I'm healthy.
Yeah. Well, that's right. So it's all about programming yourself, your mind, you have discipline, like you said, that you had to have everything or nothing kind of discipline, so that you
certain
know the framework in certain things.
Yeah, like...
And the thing what I was thinking is that maybe we should go back a little bit and explain about how because 75 days it's 2.5 months. So how do you find workouts? People might be asking, like, what kind of workouts did you do? So in a nutshell, we would probably train cardio half and muscle training half, 50-50, in a way that we would have gym. We have a pretty good gym in the building, so we were working out 45 minutes a day and running 45.
Yeah, that's what we did for the majority of the time, but then we went into lockdown and they closed gyms. So I was running more after that. We did have we have some weights at home that we did some workouts with, but I would focus mainly on running, but you were doing weights more.
Yeah. So. And also outdoor activities in general. We went hiking we went off to hiking. We went to we were swimming. We walked. We ran. We did pretty much everything we could to facilitate those 2 45 minutes workouts. Schedules on our day. Usually it was 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, or then 2 in the evening after work, dependent on how our daily schedules would be looking like.
I always aimed to do them straight after work or in the morning, but I wouldn't do the whole in the morning. I would do like a 30-minute or a 45-minute workout in the morning and then do the high intensity in the evening. Or I would just do some stretching in the morning and then I'd do a full intense an hour and a half.
That's right. And you know what? One very important point is that you're doing this for yourself, no one else. And that's why you do it with your own terms and conditions. Even though you can get a framework of the workouts, but just facilitate it towards your needs and so that you can do it likable. Because you know what? This is something very important. A few of my friends contacted me afterwards and said, when they saw the photos before and after, they contacted me and said, hey, look, I'm so inspired about this, I want to do it as well. But then few of them had to give up because they burned themselves. So I would say that yielding is a very important key word here, that you facilitate the program in the way, or you use the program in the way that it facilitates your frameworks.
Absolutely.
And then you let the time take care of the yielding, so that you become part of that new updating version of yourself who's just working out and working out.
And it's supposed to be a good experience. Like, you shouldn't push yourself too hard to the point where you burn yourself out. That doesn't sound healthy at all.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think that's the good thing with having two separate workouts, because you can do one lower intensity and then one that maybe is a bit higher, but just to balance it out.
Yeah. Let me take the framework here. You can tell about your favorite exercise meanwhile.
My favorite exercise, I prefer to do, like, on a good day, I would do a good 45-minute leg day, and then the next exercise would probably have been, like, if I didn't go running, because I prefer to,
Yeah.
but leg day is my favorite.
Leg days.
Yeah.
Alright guys, so here is the framework which we were using. It's just a basic calendar, and it shows down below what are the key elements of the workout challenge. And the fine print says, if you read the fine print, okay, so this says you have until you go to sleep to complete the day, and if you don't, you start from day one again. So,
and that's the thing that motivated me. So you don't want to, have the cheap meal or the sugar, because if you do, you have to start from scratch. And when the hard work you've done from day one, you don't want to go back.
That's right.
You just want to go. Keep pushing.
Keep pushing.
Yeah.
And progress equaled happiness again.
That was incredible. Yeah, the feeling on the 75th day, I was like, it felt amazing.
It was so crazy, yeah. Like, the first couple of, 3-4 weeks was like, oh my goodness, do we still have to push this? I'm so sore, I don't know what to do. Do we still have to go on?
I need a break.
And your mind is trying to do whatever, make any excuse it can so that you could slip away. But then, sometimes it was just running outside, wet day, midwinter, July, something in Sydney. And then you just put those shoes, sneakers on, and you went outdoors.
And it always felt good after.
Yeah.
It always felt good after, and you were glad you did it.
Yeah. And it's like progress. When you just position yourself to that, it starts to work out. So for instance, when you just put those sneakers on, went into the rain, first you were walking, but then you didn't want to walk in the rain, so you started to run. And then later on you felt like a champion.
Yeah.
So that was pretty awesome.
Good challenge. Very very rewarding.
Very rewarding.
We learned a lot
during
that. And it's true what they say. Nothing tastes as good as
fit feels.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that is
very true. Because that feeling, and you really feel good about your hard work and you see results.
Yeah.
It's incredibly empowering.
Yeah, one thing about Australia and Sydney, I mean, especially if you go Bondi Beach, you see a lot of people working out. It's almost like Venice Beach in California. People are working out at Muscle Beach. People are working out here. People are fit. People are preferring organic food. People are...
people take very good care of themselves. And I think it's the whole lifestyle that we really, enjoyed when we came here, is when we saw that people are, you're very in tune with nature, and people, value their health. And for a lot of people, if you go to the eastern suburbs or the northern beaches, people are very relaxed. Like, they work hard, but they prioritize their free time. And they go down to the beach and they just enjoy being on the beach with their families and friends. And it's just that whole, it's just a whole different lifestyle compared to what we were used to.
Yeah.
So it was something, really cool to witness. And yeah, you definitely feel like you want to be a part of that if you get the opportunity, because, you know, it's such an incredible lifestyle. Like,
Yeah, you know, it's funny that you mentioned, because I see like our previous lifestyle back in Finland was that we were working very hard, long days, and we were thinking that we would start to live our life when our retirement day comes, and all holidays, you know. We were quite active always, you know,
yeah.
but it's the I would say many times the work relations are us taking more out of you. It's bigger commitment. People tend to stay in the same company for much longer than I think anywhere else, and it's almost like a pride thing or an honor thing.
is.
You're defined by your work,
Yeah.
how reliable you are, how trustworthy you are, which is truly fantastic. For us, it was interesting to come to Australia when we all of a sudden realized that we could have time off, and we could there was a lot of public holidays, and during those public holidays you have a lot of activities, a lot of harborside lifestyle, like boating, sailing, restaurants. People are going out after work, dinner. There's
We sound like a marketing campaign.
yeah, I guess we are, because we are a bit sold to this whole thing.
We love it. We've loved living in Sydney. We've lived in a few different areas. It's our 6th or 7th year now.
6th year in Sydney.
And yeah, we've just really enjoyed the lifestyle, and it's gonna be, because I don't know if Mikael's told anyone yet, but we're planning to go back to Finland next year.
Yeah. Do a bit of comeback.
Yeah, so we're going back to our roots for a while. So that's gonna be interesting to see how we're gonna, react coming home after so long.
Yeah, facing the cold, snowy winter.
Yes. I don't mind I don't mind the winter. I'm actually looking forward to experiencing the 4 seasons again. And, the different smells, and,
the essence,
nature. Yeah.
Nature, birds are sounding different.
Yeah.
And
I do miss that. So it's going to be good to see and feel that again. But also, when we've become so accustomed and used to living the life that we have here, it'll be really interesting to see how we adapt going back to Finland again.
Yeah. One thing what I was thinking, like when you were talking about weather phenomena and circumstances, we have been having the craziest 2 years in our life, by the way.
Yeah.
In the past years here.
Been insane.
We had, so everything, like, you guys probably heard about the wildfires.
2019.
There was...
we were wearing masks not a whole year, but from, I'd say, June, July, we started wearing masks because of the smoke in the air.
So that's where it started.
For those of you who can't remember or saw footage from Sydney, it was smoky, like, every day.
Yeah.
And it was thick, dense, heavy smoke from the bushfires, and so we had
post a few photos here on the
I think that would be
YouTube clip.
Yeah.
It was shocking. That's what it was.
And not long after that, we were wearing masks for something else, so I feel like we've been wearing masks for so long, and it's just really
But if we, like, how the day looked like, the sky was brown. You couldn't see the sun through the orange brown air. It was smelling. The smell of smoke was standard. It became standard because those wildfires were so massive. They took over the whole outer area, greater area of Sydney, and I think in the scale, it was about size of half of the Europe had been under fire in the same scale. If you compare.
Devastating wildfires. Really sad.
A lot of wildlife died. And
it's incredibly sad. It's hard to even think about it.
and it was like from a movie, you know. It was like I don't know what happened with the cloud. The winds became really hot. It was already 40 plus Celsius, sometimes 45 Celsius. And when I drove to work, which was about 40 minutes drive, there was fire trucks going to all directions all the time, and people, firemen were exhausted, and oh goodness,
it was a challenging time.
Yeah.
Challenging time for Australia.
That was, and then right after came the rain,
The floods.
the floods, which flushed then riverside apartments in the rivers, and then came hail. I think in Canberra, 50,000 cars were completely destroyed by the huge hail that smashed the cars.
That. Yeah.
And then came COVID. 19. I don't know if anyone has heard about that, but then we've been under lockdowns for approximately 6-7 months, and I think
more than that. Totally, we've been in lockdown for now. We've been since July, August, September, October, November, 5.5 months, and then the 2020 lockdown lasted for, I think it was April, May, June, July.
Probably 3 months, 4 months.
Anyway, we've had one of the strictest lockdowns anywhere in the world.
Yeah, plus the borders were closed. We couldn't travel out. People couldn't travel in.
Yeah.
There were some extended, like I heard this story, this girl from New York who became ill, and she had to fly to Australia, but the only flights available cost her 35,000 Australian dollars. So they made a fundraising in the States and got the money so that she could fly back. So that was the other question. People couldn't afford the flights, and I think 40,000 people were stuck outside the borders.
A lot of people waited a long time to come back home.
Yeah.
So, but it looks like things are going back to normal, and we're hopefully, international travel is back to normal, hopefully from next year, and it's started to open up slowly, but I think it's still, not to the capacity that we'd want, but
otherwise there would be planes everywhere.
Yeah, there's definitely not a lot of planes in the air at the moment. But yeah, it is what it is. Like, we just have to adapt and get used to this new normal, I guess, with COVID and life with COVID.
Yeah. We haven't been home in 3 years, 2.5.
Yeah. So.
And it's been crazy. The good thing in all this negative, this uncomfortable story is that it's been including a lot of self reflection.
Yeah.
And I think that workout challenge we just talked about, it was the best time to do it because it was lockdown, it was winter, there's not too much things to do. So
perfect timing to keep our minds off that, negative stuff that's happening outside and
concentrate on the positive outcome.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a good reminder to every one of you. The times are tough, times are hard. People have been losing family, friends, and relatives and friends and people around them. But remember, there's always something that we can take out of this and use it for a better future.
That's
so
true.
Just
very true.
Remember to stay positive, even though it's a bit hard sometimes. But that's it's much better for
do
for
your
the environment.
part. Like, if you stay true to what you feel in your heart, and you feel like you do the right thing, that's all we can do right now. Just follow our intuition and just
don't
help
give
people.
in to fear. That's the thing. There's a lot of things, a lot of noise, a lot of fear distributed from different channels, a lot of force to guide people into or lead people into different paths, divide people. remember that we are greater than that, and we have to just stay truthful to ourselves, the close ones around, and add value rather than point fingers and take value. So
yeah, very well said.
Yeah, well, I think this is a great opportunity to wrap up this podcast. Thank you very much for coming on board.
My absolute pleasure. Yeah, I don't know, it was just my kind of, my way of, explaining and sharing my perspective of things. Highly recommend, people to, if you have that feeling that you want to explore and you want to do more with your life, then that's your choice. You don't have to worry about what people will think or say, or if people will judge you for your decisions. Screw them. Do what you feel is right for you, because you're only living for you. You're here for you, and you're living, YOLO.
Yeah.
YOLO. You only live once, and it's, your life. So
that's a pretty good thing.
Yeah.
That's a.
And you want to look back when you're 85, and if we're blessed to live that long, and just, reminisce on a life that you lived, and you did the stuff that you wanted to do, and you didn't please people, too much. It's good to be kind and good to share and contribute to society and be a good citizen. But in the end, you wanna feel like you've lived the life that you want to live, and I think people forget that, and people live for other people. Too often. So,
you can't live to anyone's ideals. People, one of the problems is that people are trying to help. Our peers often are trying to help us by offering their standards to us. However, people wouldn't realize that their standards would be our ideals, your ideals. That kind of blueprint doesn't work for you necessarily, that works for the other person. So therefore, take ownership of your life and make awesome things happen, things that counts, things that makes you genuinely happy. And that gives to the environment as well. That's all that matters. All right, thank you everyone, and have a wonderful day.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.